Good evening and welcome to another edition of Light Talk Business on the Rahim Show. And as you all know, I am your host, Ricky Ali. I want to use this time to welcome my viewer on Facebook and YouTube. I want to say thanks for always following our show, and especially my TikTok family as well, who watched our show as well. I want to welcome all of you around the world who are watching our platform. Light Talk Business is designed to provide you business tips and also information that will help you succeed in whatever business you find yourself. One of the things I ask people, especially some of you who want to begin a business, three questions you might ask yourself, as a person who desire to get into business. Ask yourself, are you a self-motivated person? Because if you don't have motivation, you cannot do business. That's the first thing you have to ask yourself. Are you a self-motivated person? And the second thing, are you able to manage cash flow? Because that's when a lot of things comes when you're doing business. So are you able to manage money between money and the business? Are you able to manage cash flow? That's another question you have to ask yourself. Because if you're not good at managing money, then it's very difficult for you to do business. And the last thing, are you willing to take calculated risks? Because business is not like bread and butter. The same thing with life. Life is not bread and butter. You know that ups and downs in life. It's the same thing with business. Business has its ups and downs. So are you willing to take a calculated risk? Meaning there will be a time where the business will not yield anything. Are you willing to make the sacrifices? That is why I always tell you there are three important things that make you to succeed in business. One is dedication, and another one is vision, and the next one is strategic approach. To be a successful business person require this kind of coveted achievement. You need to be dedicated, you need to have a vision, and you also need to enforce strategic management when it comes to the business. So tonight I'm going to use three important personalities who I admire so much in when it comes to small businesses. Three important people, and I'm going to use them as a perfecto image to be able to give you a lot of information why these people are continue to do what to do, and they are becoming successful in their business. So I'm going to share with you momentarily, but also please share the podcast, make some comment. We will highly appreciate you for that. So let me share these three people and just highlight something about them and why we're about to discuss. Today we're going to discuss things that small businesses need to do to succeed. That is the topic tonight, and I'm going to share the number momentarily for you to call and be a part of the show. But let me share these three people that I admire, who are all small businesses owner. They are doing a fantastic work when it comes to the businesses. So yes, you can see on the screen there, you see we just T-Bank Classic, and we see Simple But Habit. This guy designed his own product, and then we see my own sister, Antoinette Clark, who is AC African Collection. If you want to get a lot of African collection, both for male and female, you can check acafricancollection.com, and you will see a lot of collection. So I'm just going to highlight about these three great personalities that I admire when it comes to small businesses, as I set the tune for what we're going to discuss. If you're watching the show, please share the podcast, make some comment. We will highly appreciate you for that. Tonight we are talking about things that small businesses might do to succeed. And like I said, if you are not, into business yet and you want to get into business, you have to ask yourself these three questions. These three questions are very important because getting into business, it's not a rocket science. It's not something you can just do and you feel that the business just succeed right away. No, you have to ask yourself: are you a self-motivated person? Are you able to manage cash flow? Are you able to manage money well? And also, are you willing to take calculated risks? Because most of the business people that you see picture on the screen, they've been through calculated risks. They've been through a lot of things. Today, you see they're still into business. It's because what? They are dedicated and they have vision and they employ such strategic approach. So it's very important that you ask yourself the question before you get into business. So things that small businesses need to do to succeed, that's what we are discussing. And we'll share the number momentarily for you to call and also be a part of the show. But let me just highlight these three personalities that I admire so much. They are all my friends and family. I consider them. And I will start with my own brother because I know him from Liberia. When I was in the store in Liberia, he used to buy clothes from her. This guy has been upset, with faction all along when he was a young boy. He loved to, look very good. It's important to look good, as a business person. I knew Ted, Ted Benz for a long time, in Liberia when I was, in the store managing one of my uncle business. He's somebody who come and buy a lot of good things and wear it. So this guy been upset with faction today. Long story short, he has his own T-Ben Classic, and if you want a lot of great suit, especially suit for wedding, and suit for great collabo, just reach out to me. I'll be able to link you all with a lot of information regarding his suit. I know a lot of time people want to buy some suit. We are in the fall right now. It's time to wear some long sleeves coat suit, very good button suit. He designed all of those things, and the thing about it, he sold it himself. Great, tailor. He does a lot of good work, and I really admire him for that. The next person I also want to talk about, just to highlight what small businesses need to succeed, is Sal Roosevelt. This guy, he has a faction Italian mindset. He's a very good business tycoon. He been doing Simple but Habit. That's a product name. He been doing the brand for a long time, and I really admire him for that. So, shout out to all of them. I was able to design one of his product and several other product that I bought from him. I love the product because he come up with his own design. I don't know how he does that, but he does an amazing work. So a shout out to him also. And then also my own sister, Antoinette Clark. When it comes to the African area, she's specializing in a lot of African clothes, jewelry, bags, African, collabo. If you want good African clothes, I recommend that you contact acafricancollection.com or reach out to me better still, and I will give you her contact so you can be able to get a lot of African clothes that will make you look beautiful. I know a lot of people who watch the show love to work on African clothes. There are times you see some African clothes on me, right? I get these things from these people. So I just wanted to highlight something about them. These people also, they are an example for small businesses because why? They stay in small business for long. They will give you a lot of information for some of you who want to get into small businesses as we talk about things that small businesses might do to succeed. And also, if you want to get in business, ask yourself these three questions. Are you a self-motivated person? Are you willing to take a calculated risk? Or are you able to manage cash flow? Because those are the things you might discipline yourself first before you think about, doing market research and doing, marketing campaign and all the kind of thing. Because if you're not disciplined, you can never do business to succeed. So I just wanted to highlight these things and these people in the meantime while we, set our tune for our discussion. But let's get started to, in our discussion tonight. And if you're watching the show, please share the podcast, make some comment, and like as well. We highly appreciate you for that. Without action, we have to understand in business, without action, right? Your marketing plan will just be worse. Every time you say, "Oh, I would do this," procrastination is always often said is a thief of time, right? So even if you procrastinate and you say things by just your words, right, and no action about it, you will not succeed because business is not a rocket science. The same way with anything you want to do is not a rocket science. There might be some action, initiated or what exacted, before you can get a result. So it's very important that you put in action before you can get a result. It's very important. So one of the things that I want to tell small business people, In order to become successful, you have to stay focused. Because in the process of you doing business to succeed, there are a lot of times distraction come. And many of you can attest to that who be in business. A lot of times you get distracted. A lot of times, temptation and other things will come. A lot of times things will interplay into the business. Business is not like, bread and butter, like same with life. Life is not bread and butter. That's why calculated risk is very important. A lot of times people don't take calculated risk. So staying focused in business lead to a greater productivity. Why? If you stay focused, it lead to a greater productivity because why? You don't want anything to distract you from your goal. Like you have a short-term goal and a long-term goal. You don't want anything to come between the goal because your main purpose for doing business is to why? Make profit. No one want to get into business and just lose all the time. No, it is true. Sometimes you do business at a loss at some point, but it's not the main purpose for you for which you get into business. It's not incur loss all the time. You want to incur profit. You want to incur profit. You want to get profit. So the main purpose of doing business is to make profit. No one want to get into business to just incur loss. No, you want to get profit. But staying focused, why? It will help you. It lead to greater productivity, high quality work, better decision making, and ultimately accelerate growth and productivity. Yes, every time you stay focused in doing what you do, right, you can yield a result. It's just the same simple mathematics. If you put in A, your outcome will be what? A. You cannot put in C and you expect your outcome to be A. It's not possible. It's not possible. You have to put in the work, then you have the result for the work you put in. That's why staying focused as a small business person will help you with greater productivity, higher quality work, better decision making, and ultimately accelerate you to productivity. Because why? You want to make a profitability rather. You want to make profit as a business owner. By concentrating on your essential goal and tasks as a small business person, businesses can avoid distraction, minimize waste time. That's why I just said it. You see, I was just saying it, and the reading just provide that. So you see, you have to minimize. You have to minimize wasted time. Procrastination is a thief of time. You cannot waste your time as a business person on things that are not important. You have a goal to achieve, so you have to work towards that goal. If you don't work towards your short-term goal, you will most likely not achieve the long-term goal. Because if your short-term goal cannot be achieved, then your long-term goal will be forever. So you minimize wasted time. You don't procrastinate things. You want to stay focused because why? You want to avoid distraction. Businesses can avoid distraction, minimize waste time, and produce burnout race, ensuring that they maintain a clear path of achieving a mission and a long-term sustainability. Because the main purpose of the business, you want a business to develop, you want a business to grow so that you can expand and have other branches. But if you cannot stay focused on the little you're doing, I tell you, you will experience a lot of difficult time. So that's what we are saying here. If you're watching the show, please share the podcast, make some comment. We highly appreciate you for that. So things that help small businesses to succeed. So we're going to go through things that help small businesses to succeed. So small businesses can succeed by creating a detailed business plan. What is a business plan? You have to have a business plan. This is my business plan. This is what I plan to do. This is what I want to achieve. You have all of the things in the business plan. Then you have to stay focused because why? You want to lead yourself to a greater productivity. You want a business plan to not just be words, but it should be action. It should be something implemented. It should be something that comes to fruition. Because why? You don't want to just have a paper and you just say words and you don't implement some of these things. That's one of the things that even killing our country, Liberia, to just divert a little bit because of lack of implementation visibility. And the same thing goes with business. If you don't have an implementation visibility, you will not achieve in business. You will not achieve in business. So small businesses can succeed by creating a detailed business plan, and then you focus on that strong financial management and accurate bookkeeping. Record keeping is very important. You have to balance your book. You have to make sure what your expenses versus your income, and what is also in the store. You have to do inventory. You have to do all the things because you have to do bookkeeping. You have to balance your book. You want to make sure that what you sell versus what is remaining in your store is on the balance level. You know, it reconciles. Let me use the accounting word reconcile. You want to reconcile. Everything that you do, because if you don't do it, I tell you, you won't know exactly what is leaving out of your business, and you don't even know what is being replenished. You won't know. So it's very important for you to take note of some of these important things, and as you want to succeed as a small business person. So delivering excellent customer service. This is the most important part that I love to emphasize in life, because the customers are the most important stakeholder of every business. Why do we do business? We do business why? To meet the needs, or to meet customers, somehow the needs and wants, right? You want to bring something that meet the needs and wants of customer. So if you don't prioritize the people, you don't expect people to come to your store. That's why you see more businesses. Sometimes you see they're doing closing still, because why? There are not many customers going to that particular location, for which they are making more expenses versus customer coming in. So it's very important, and it also create a problem where the business end up dying naturally, because why? You don't create that excellent customer satisfaction. You have to make sure that you prioritize customer. That is why strategic approach is very important. It's not that you dedicating yourself to the business. It's not just because you have a plan and goal that you want to achieve, but also what is the strategy? What do you think? How do you think about this business when you go to bed? What strategy are you putting in place to say, oh yeah, let me create this thing to make my customer happy. Let me do this thing to make my customer. Let me create another design. That is why I mentioned the 3 people earlier. Because what? These people always desire to bring something good, bring something good to make the customer happy. And if you're in a habit of doing that, definitely you're going to have more customer coming to the business. Let's read further. So, delivering excellent customer service is very important. And then what? Implementing effective marketing strategic approach. You got to implement that. If you can't implement that, you will not create a unique selling, a gap that will make people, how do you trick a buyer to come to your product? How do you? What are some of the unique design? I see a lot of products, sometimes the brand, they create different design. You see it today in our world, different brand, different design are created, right, to trick up people. More companies want to get certain market share. So that's why you see they're coming with different marketing strategy. Marketing strategy is very important. You can never do anything without a marketing strategy. Because what? You want to retain customer and you want to get more customer. Because if you just sit, other people will be on top of the business. Why? You just have product packing upon packing, and you can't even get customer to move into your store to buy. You don't want to be that. Leveraging technology to improve efficiency. Yes. Building a strong professional network and adapting the market changes and innovation. Yeah. The world is moving. A lot of things are happening. You want to adapt to the technology that is happening today. They got e-marketing, they got everything. You see people selling online. People don't sell only on stores these days. People use social media to sell. These are all things you do. And most of the people you see that I mentioned earlier, they do e-marketing. They sell online. They got their own social platform where they share the product to sell. So you have to do all of these things, because what? The technology is moving rapidly. It's not waiting for you. So you have to move along. You have to adapt, to innovation, to technology, improve efficiency to help you, and then build a strong professional network. Build a network where you are able to have that, relationship between your customer. Like I said, if you build an excellent customer service and you build that relationship with your customer, I tell you, you will always. Company like Amazon. Why do you think Amazon makes a lot of money? Why do you think most of the big companies make a lot of money? Because they prioritize the customer. They see the customer as the most important stakeholder. They don't joke with customer. That's why even the customer call and see the feedback for the product, they are worrying about the feedback the customer give. Because why? They want to satisfy. They don't want one customer to even leave. They want people to continue to come and buy. So you have to prioritize your customer if you want to succeed. And then understanding and knowing the care of the customer. Another point again. You see, customer is customer become a cliche. repetitive things that keep coming up. Because why? Customers are the most important people if you want to succeed. We are talking about teams that help small businesses succeed. We are saying create a detailed plan, a detailed a business plan. Focus on small financial management, and accurate bookkeeping. Make sure you keep your record. Focus on how you can manage, because if you can manage the little you have, you will not succeed to have a bigger one. So that's why bring me to the 8 things that I said earlier about people who want to get into business. If you want to get into business, ask yourself these 3 questions. Am I a self-motivated person? Because you have to be motivated by what you do. Business is not a rocket science. It's not something that you can just, you excel. No. It comes with dedication. It comes with vision. It comes with strategic approach. And many other things that you have to put in. Because the world is changing rapidly. And you have to follow technology, innovation, and you have to be adaptable. You have to learn a lot of things. So you see, and what are you saying? Understanding and knowing the care of customer, and you got to also understand your competitor. Probably you're facing the design and you don't know whether somebody had copied your design to go and produce that design, and that person might bring that same design, and sell it almost lesser than your price. Now he's a competitor. Now you have to be strategic, oriented. You have to be mindful, because why? You don't want a competitor to take over the entire market and you don't have a share. At the end of the day, the business obviously going to break down. Because why? Nobody's going to come by your business. So you want to always be strategic, strategically, oriented, so that you can be able to create a design that will trigger buyer to come to your product. You want to do that, and you want to stay on top of your competitor. You don't want your competitor to win you. You don't want to do that. So you got to understand the cares of the customer, and you have to understand your competitor, and you stay organized are also crucial to sustain growth and long-term success. Yeah. How long you stay in the business and how well and how organized you stay there will determine how successful in the long term that business is going to be. So you got to know that. You got to know that. Folks, if you're following the show, please share the podcast, make some comment. We highly appreciate you for that. We are discussing things that the small businesses might do to succeed. And we are saying that in order to succeed as a small business person, you must create a business detail plan. You must also focus on strong financial management. If you cannot manage, your finances when it's smaller, you will not manage when it gets bigger. And then you also have to keep record. You have to balance your book. You have to, reconcile everything you have, when it comes to your accounting, aspects of your business. You have to reconcile, and you have to prioritize customer, deliver excellent customer service, and you have to implement effective marketing, campaign or strategy. And a lot of people use e-marketing today. They're on social media selling the product. They don't just sell the product impressive, but they also use a lot of social platforms to sell the product. That's our e-marketing. People go online and do all the fun things. And that's a way of getting more customers and getting people to buy from you as well. So folks, continue, if you are into business, continue to follow some of these tips. It will help you to succeed. What we are doing at the Rahim Show is to provide you with information that will help you succeed, because the goal here is to make sure that you succeed in whatever business you do. And that is why Light Talk Business is all about. It's designed to provide you with business tips and information for you as a business person to succeed, or for somebody who wanting to start business, to help them prepare themselves so that when they get in business, they know exactly what are some of the things they need to do to be able to succeed. That is how we come to the end of our show tonight. Because of time, we want to say thanks for all of you who follow our show. We want to say for some of you who support us, we highly appreciate you for that. Good night.